But I'm still pulling the radiator, and if I have time, putting a new one in.
All right, I bet y'all are asking me, why am I showing y'all this weed? Well, guys, this weed is pigweed. Yep, but guess what else this is? This is amaranthus. The seeds can be eaten dry, raw, cooked, or any of that. This is amaranth, or a variety of amaranth, complete with worms.
It's called pigweed.
This is called pigweed because if a pig eats it, the pig could be poisoned by it. I think it's like Johnson grass in a certain season. The toxins build up in it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Stay tuned for more. Good morning, guys. So, y'all come with us on our journey. Got a lot of stuff to do today, and never enough time to do it. But at least the weather's getting better for it. It is. All right. So, what are we doing today? Well, y'all see them pots right there? Those are blueberries. All of those right there are all blueberries. There are 10 of them, I think, there. And then there are 2 more over at the greenhouse area. So today we're going to get them planted. So let me show you what we're doing. All right, so we have started pulling back this. And guys, this is not the correct tarping for killing weeds, but this did not a bad job actually, because this is easily killed weeds that are here. The grass is not here, so it got that part killed. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant this area with those 10 plus 2 more blueberries. We may move some of the other blueberries in other locations to this spot too later on in the fall, but for now this is what we're doing. So I've still got to pull back the other tarp down there, and let me show you why this is not the best thing to use. So this is not the big plastic sheeting. This is woven, as you can kind of see. So it allows the water and air in. But guess what else it does when you try to move it after it has been down for a while? Yep, there's another spot it just tore. So this worked for its purpose, but it is not a good long-term plan. So, like I said, it worked for the purpose. Now we're going to space these out, finish pulling that back, finish getting the cucumbers off the fence too. That was actually a very good use of an empty fence, growing cucumbers there. They grew very nicely. And as you can see, we have cucumbers everywhere. So, all right, let's get to doing. So we took a break, ate lunch, and I decided I needed to give you a little bit more information on blueberries. So here in Alabama, we plant what's known as a rabbit eye variety. And I actually have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 different varieties of blueberries that we're going to be planting. And the reason we use the rabbit eye out here in Alabama is because it is actually a native blueberry to our area, which makes it tolerant of heat and drought. And it's already used to our humidity, so, you know, it's a win-win situation. Now, these blueberries need cross-pollination, which is why I have so many different varieties. We have one that's a pink lemonade even, and we tested several of these this past spring, and they're delicious. All of them have something unique about them that I cannot pick just one. So we will be putting all these together, and we'll be mixing them in the bags even, because we just like them all. So you need to put them in a place where you get full sun and good drainage. You want to make sure there's a lot of organic matter in the soil, and you want the soil to be more acidic. So if you've got a place that likes hydrangeas and plants that like acidic soil, this is where you want to plant your blueberries too. In fact, you can actually plant blueberries in the landscape as a specimen plant where you have your hydrangeas and things, because they all like the same soil. So that's what we are going to be doing. We're going to be using ours as landscaping, because what's the smart choice to put around your landscaping other than stuff that you can eat? So that's what we are about. We're about nothing useless. In fact, we have a lot of useless stuff, but we just love everything. But the smart choices are things that you can get food from. So we will be planting blueberries and blackberries in a lot of places, along with garlic, which is a good pest deterrent, strawberries, you name it. We will have fruit and food everywhere. That is the point of being self-sufficient. All right, so what's the best time to plant? Late fall to early winter, in our area, that is. Now, planting late fall gives your roots more time to adjust and put on new growth to where they can make it through winter. In our area, we don't get a real bad winter, so we can plant on up into winter, whereas a lot of climates cannot. Spacing of them, 5 foot apart, that's all, 5 foot apart. Now, if you're going to do more than one row of them, then you want the individual rows to be 10 to 12 foot apart. And we'll put the link where I got the information for my extension service here in Alabama, somewhere in the screen or in the comments or something, to where you all can read the same information that we did. Now, each extension service for each state has one of these flyers most likely. So make sure, if you're not in Alabama, like if you're in the north, that you choose the one from Washington State or somewhere that has the same climate and zone that you do, because ours is geared to growing in the south. All right, so let's get back to it. Also, we will be putting feed sacks around the base of ours and coming back with mulch on top of them. And we are actually planting ours at the wrong time. This is late August, start of September, so we're actually in early, technically, not quite fall yet, but early fall. But these plants have been in a pot since last year already, and we just wanted to go ahead and get them in the ground before we end up losing them. So y'all stay tuned as we start planting. want your holes to be twice as wide at the same depth. If you go deeper, then you need to incorporate organic matter into the bottom of your hole to raise it up to the correct level. How do I know how deep? Well, put your plant in there, guys. And that one, as you can see, the hole is twice as wide and it's right at level. So we will lift this up a little bit and get it level in here. All right, let's talk about the other one. So the other one is a deeper hole. Let me see if I can pull this pot out. All right, so our hole is not quite twice as wide, and it needs to be a little bit deeper because this is where the top of my soil line is. And as you can see, I still got another inch deep to go. So we will keep working on this and we will get these filled in and planted. Now, when you're planting these, you can stand it back up. Where this one is laying off to the side, I'm going to stand it up. This new growth should straighten up, but I'm just going to take and remove this top part of the dirt here when I set that down in the soil, because I want this to be straighter than it's sitting currently, as you can see. See how it's jutting out that way? So we are going to stand that one up and make it stand up straight. One down. 10 more to go, guys. 10 more to go. right. So there's 3 down. 8 more to go. But I'll spare you all that. So the next thing we will do here, when I finish planting everything, is come back, put feed sacks around the base. We will be putting some comfrey around the fence edge there, and possibly along the front, maybe in the back. I'm not sure on the back yet, because it's going to have to be to where I can pick around the bushes, but definitely along that corner there. If I plant comfrey, it may be a row, probably about where these sticks are. That way, as the bush grows, I'll have a line in front of them and I can walk around the bush still. Comfrey is awesome for plants. It releases nutrients back in the soil and stuff as it breaks down. So keep that in mind when you are doing your orchards and stuff, that you might want to consider planting some comfrey at the base of your trees. All right, guys, stay tuned. All right, guys, so let me show you what we've done. We have the blueberries all planted. They're all in the ground. They're all looking good. Now we have not finished coming back and mulching yet, but as you can see what we're doing here, we're taking these feed sacks and we are covering the ground with them. And then we will put mulch on top of that. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Y'all, if y'all have animals, I know you have an abundance of these bags. Now, the majority of our bags are paper. They are not the plastic fill bags. So we can use these out here around any of our plants. And it helps keep the weeds down under them and helps hold in moisture, all that good stuff. But guys, they're all planted. All right, so it's that time of year when we start planting our orchards and we start dreaming of our orchards. Guys, the first things you should plant are not, I mean they are, but they're not apple trees, pear trees, and stuff like that. You want to plant strawberries, blackberries, blueberries. We plant local muscadines and scuppernongs because we can get a harvest off of those first year. Now, you do need to plant those other trees as well because it takes 5 to 10 years to get fruit off of those trees. So keep that in mind. Also, most of those are going to be grafted, which means you can't propagate those yourself without knowing what you're doing actually and knowing better rootstocks and stuff like that. It's a science for grafting. Blueberries, you take some of that new growth once it's hardened off, stick it in some dirt, you've got a new blueberry bush. I mean, same for blackberries. Take and root that just easily. Strawberries, they put off a lot of runners and propagate themselves. You don't have to do any work. You just have to move them around and divide them up and make sure they have space. Get rid of the old crowns and keep the new ones. So yeah, that's just a little tip from me. We have planted, as you can see in the background, those are peach trees that we planted. Man, those things take work. They take lots of chemicals, unfortunately, to be able to have a good harvest off of them, to prevent the worms that eat the fruit and stuff like that. Blackberries, I have zero problems. We have probably, 30 blackberry bushes from, we purchased one, yeah, and I planted 6, I think, cuttings off of it, and then every year I add more cuttings around the property on the fence lines and stuff. So yeah, we will have tons of thornless blackberries. They produce that blackberry that's like that big. Blueberries, we just planted those 10. Strawberries, we have a bed full of them, and we have 2 new beds that we will be planting of those as well. Muscadines and scuppernongs, we have out that way that we have 4 muscadine vines, and on the greenhouse fence there are 2 over there and 3 more that I have to plant. So we have the fruit established. In this front yard, we do also have, like I said, the start of our orchard. So let me turn the camera around. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peach trees here. We have a nectarine, and then out there closer to the road, we have 4 or 5 apple trees. Right over there on that side of the fence line. Let me see if I can zoom in and to where you can see it. You see that little tree right there? There's 3 plum trees. And then down there, well, that big tree's blocking it. There are 3 persimmon, Japanese persimmons that make the better fruits. Guy across the road has a wild persimmon, and we have wild persimmons in the woods. And then y'all see that tree line way over there? We planted 2 Asian pears over there and 2 regular sugar pears over at the greenhouse. So we have the orchard started. And guys, right there is a yellow jacket nest. So I've got to cut the grass and kill the yellow jacket nest carefully. All right, guys. So if you like what we're doing, make sure you give us a like. Make sure you give us a comment. We love the comments. We love teaching and stuff. Yeah, make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell, guys. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.